My daughter-in-law, Carrie, called me one morning to tell me that one of my sweet granddaughters, Emily Claire, was having tests done for a sharp pain in her abdomen. The doctor didn't know if she had appendicitis or something else, so they continued ordering more tests. So we kept waiting and waiting to find out if she was going to be admitted to the hospital or be taken to surgery or just what was going to happen. I made sure my hair was combed and that I was presentable in case I had to head to the hospital in a hurry. After many fretful hours, we learned that the test showed she had a ruptured cyst that they were able to treat, and she was sent home. That's the way life often is. We just don't know what's going to happen. We think of people diagnosed with serious illnesses, not knowing what the next weeks and months will bring. We think of high school seniors waiting to hear whether they have been accepted into the college of their choice. Waiting to hear whether you got the job you wanted can be nerve-wracking. During this last 2 years of the pandemic, we didn't know what was going to happen from day to day. There are just lots of times in our lives when we don't know what the future holds, and the waiting part is often difficult. I personally hate waiting. The prophet Isaiah had some words of wisdom for us during these hard times of waiting. He was speaking to Israelites in the kingdom of Judah at a time when they were moving further and further away from God. They were also undergoing severe trials as they were facing exile from their homeland. In Isaiah chapter 50, verse 10, we read, "Who among you fears the Lord? Who obeys the voice of his servant? Who walks in darkness and has no light? Let him trust in the name of the Lord and rely upon his God." The easy-to-read version of the Bible says this, "The people that respect the Lord also listen to his servant. That servant lives completely trusting in God without knowing what will happen. He truly trusts in the Lord's name, and that servant depends on his God." Now notice that this was written to the ones who still feared the Lord. These were believers who were still trying to live faithfully, but they needed encouragement as they were going through the trials and disappointments of this life. McLaren's Expositions tells us, speaking of those difficulties, "But while it lasts, they are to wait patiently on the Lord and not to cast away their confidence, though all seems dark and dreary." Earlier in the book of Isaiah, we read over and over where Isaiah was trying to lead God's people to a deeper trust in God to help them through the hard times. Isaiah chapter 12, verse 2. "Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For Yah, the Lord, is my strength and song. He also has become my salvation." Isaiah 26, 4. "Trust in the Lord forever, for in Yah the Lord is everlasting strength." Of course, David, who suffered trial upon trial as he was being hunted down by King Saul, and as he dealt with his own sin and as he tried to lead God's people, wrote many beautiful psalms commending the virtue of trusting in God. Psalms 31, verses 13 and 14. "For I hear the slander of many, fear is on every side. While they take counsel together against me, they scheme to take away my life. But as for me, I trust in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God." Psalms 37, 5. "Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass." Psalm 62, 8. "Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us." Don't you love that? Pour out your heart before him. God will be a refuge for us. I don't know what's on your heart today, but I suspect for at least some of us, we have burdens that are threatening to rob us of that trust we have in God. Waiting is difficult. especially when the darkness seems to overwhelm us. When we don't know what's going to happen, when we dread the worst, aren't we thankful that we can pour out our hearts before the one who loves us and who is a refuge for us? We must trust in the name of the Lord and always rely on our God.